Welcome back, Forging friends. We are down to 3 decks. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to go in with any expectations. This is our third to last deck. Let's just see what it has, and this time we're just going to accept it. We're just going to accept whatever happens. All right. With full acceptance, we're going for Saurians, Star Alliance, and Shadows. We have Lady No Mercy Mendel, and she's got very nice looking hair, some wings, and a cool little like triangle and circular symbol behind her with, I guess you call those feet. I don't know. Looks very cool. All right, 3 good houses. Let's see what we got. All right, dropping down the Archon card. We're starting with Star Alliance. We have Matter Maker, an artifact with an Amber Pip. You may play upgrades as if they were in the active house. We want a lot of upgrades in this deck, so we can make a good use of that, for sure. Xeno Training is an action card with an Amber Pip. For each house represented among friendly creatures, a friendly creature captures 1 Amber. Pretty good Amber control. We've got Stealth Stir, a 3-power creature with Elusive, and maybe played as an upgrade that gives a creature Elusive. Could be good. Mutagenesis Researcher, 3-power creature that just enhanced 1 of every pip. Lay of the Land, an action card with an Amber Pip. Play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. Draw a card. Great efficiency card. Here's Detention Coil, an upgrade that has an Amber Pip and makes a creature not able to fight. Good to control some creatures. Away Team, a 5-power creature with Destroyed. Put each upgrade on Away Team into its owner's archives. Man, I really hope we have a decent amount of upgrades in this deck. Well, not so far. We have Armory Officer Nell, 4-power creature, and after an upgrade enters play, draw a card. Oh my gosh, we really want more upgrades. Please give us more upgrades. Security Droid can be used as an upgrade, and it's a 4-power creature that can be a taunt creature or give a creature taunt. We've got Red Alert, a action card with play. If there are more enemy creatures than friendly creatures, deal damage to each enemy creature equal to the difference. Great board control card. We got 2 of those. That's nice. Observe You Max is an upgrade with 2 Amber Pips and a Draw Pip. This creature gains a Fight Reap, Capture an Amber. Great upgrade. All right, well, we had, I think, a total of 2 or 3 upgrades in there. Not great, but let's see if we have more. So in Shadows here, we've got Finch Cloak, a 4-power creature with Fight Reap. If you have less Amber than your opponent, steal 1. Otherwise, each player gains 1 Amber. Okay? Good steal. We have Reckless Rizzo, a 1-power creature with Elusive, and as an action, you can steal 2 Amber. Until the start of your next turn, he loses Elusive. Okay, so we want to put him next to a taunt creature and give him as much protection as possible. Ransack, an action card with play. Steal 1 Amber, discard the top card of your deck. If that card is a Shadows card, trigger this effect again. Stealing cards is good. We got Borrow, an action card with an Amber Pip and an Enhanced Capture Pip. Play, take control of an enemy artifact. While it's under your control, it belongs to House Shadows instead of its original house. Good Amber control. We got Bone Rot Venom, an upgrade with an Amber Pip and a Draw Pip. After this creature is used, deal 2 damage to it. All right, it's an upgrade. That's another upgrade at least. Vandalize is an action card with an Amber Pip and a Damage Pip. Play, look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, discard 1, and put the others back in any order. Great Disruption card. Fantastic. Subtle Auto is a creature with 1 power. Play, your opponent discards a random card from their hand, another Disruption card. We got Seeker Needle, an action card, an artifact with action. Deal 1 damage to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, gain 1 Amber. We can use that right on our Subtle Auto right afterwards. Very nice. And we got Red Penny to use that on. A 1-power creature with play, steal an Amber, and destroy, shuffle her into your deck. So that's a great combo with that Seeker Needle. We got Gamgee, a 2-power elusive creature with Reap. If your opponent has more Amber than you, you steal 1. And we got Bone Nithing, a 2-power creature with play. Steal 1 Amber for each Forge key your opponent has. Great mid to late game card. Got 2 of those. Great. Moving on to Saurians. We've got the artifact Monument to Strix. You may spend Amber on Monument to Strix as if it were in your pool. As an action, you may move 1 Amber from your pool to Monument of Strix. If Citizen Strix is in your discard pile, move 1 from any player's pool to Monument of Strix instead. Oh wow, you can just basically steal 1 from your opponent. That's pretty cool. I mean, this is obviously susceptible to artifact control, but it's just another thing for your opponent to worry about. That's really cool. Got Lycosaurus, a 5-power creature with Skirmish, and play, you may exalt it, and if you do, deal 3 damage to a creature. Wow, that's a great card. Good fighter. Patronage, an action card with play. Move half of the amber from a creature to your pool, and move the remaining amber from that creature to your opponent's pool. That could be very good. We've got Senator Quintina. After creature reaps, exalt it. Saurian Egg, a 1 power 5 armor creature with Amber Pip and cannot fight or reap. Omni, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. If you discard any Saurian creatures this way, put them into play, ready, and give them 3+1 power counters and destroy Saurian Egg. Very cool. Depending on how many creatures we have, it could be good. We have Praefectus Ludo, a 5 power creature. Each other friendly creature gains destroyed. Move each amber on this creature to the common supply. Staple Saurian card. One of the best Saurian cards. There's Faust the Great, a 4 power creature with your opponent's keys cost +1 amber for each friendly creature with amber on it. And play, you may exalt a friendly creature. Defense Initiative, an action card with play. Ward a creature. You may exalt that creature. If you exalt it, ward each of its neighbors. Good protection. Curse of Vanity, an action card with an Amber Pip. Play, exalt a friendly creature and an enemy creature. Citizen Tricks, there he is. 3 power creature with play reap. Exalt him to steal 1 amber. Got 2 of him. Got 3 of him. Wow, that's really good. Wow, 3 Citizen Tricks with the Monument. That's kind of fantastic. Overall, this just seems like a solid deck with just a lot of solid fundamental aspects being taken care of. Let's do the counts, and we'll see. I'll be right back. Welcome back. I've separated out the cards. Let's see how many creatures we have. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 creatures. That's a pretty good amount. As far as amber on the cards, I'm going to count a few of these creatures. So we're going to count the Rad Penny. So that's 1 Bonithings. That's 2, 3. This guy, 4. And then 5, 6, 7 on creatures. 7 amber on creatures. And then going on the cards themselves, we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, at least 14, 15, 16, 17. This is going to be at least 1. So that's 18 and 19. Oh my gosh. 20 creatures with around 19 amber on the cards. That's kind of insane. Those are insane ratios right there. Okay, let's start with amber control. Things that increase our opponent's keys or take away amber from them in some way. So let's see. That's a stipulated one, right? There's nothing before that. I don't think I missed anything here. Right, so since that's a stipulated one, count that as half. That's going to be 1, so that's 1.5. Say 2, since that's a stipulation, 2. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Amber control so far. 9. I didn't miss any capture pips, did I? No, okay. 9 so far. 10. 11, since this lets fight recapture ones, that's 11. 12. 13's got the capture pip. 13, amber control, 19 amber on the cards and 20 creatures. Wow, that's actually kind of insane. Actually, I didn't count this. This is 14, right? Because I can, if there's a Shrix in the discard pile, which we have 3 of those, that'll be 2. It'll be an amber from their pool. 2, so that's 14. 14 amber control. Wow, it's pretty great. All right, then looking at artifact control, we have 1. Usually that's like a weak point deck. We just have this borrow. If it's a static effect, then taking their artifact's not really going to make a difference. So if it's like a Quixel Stone or something, it's still going to apply. This won't really help. But for things that can be used, this can be very powerful. So we have some artifact control at least. Looking at creature control, let's look at things that damage or destroy creatures or prevent them from being used in the way we want them to be, and in the way our opponent wants them to be used. Let's see. I don't know that we'll have any creatures that offer any creature control in particular. Oh, this guy does damage if he exalted, so yeah, it's 1. This kind of makes your opponent second guess reaping, so I'll say that's half, 1.5. 2, 0.5. 3, 3.5. 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 6.5 creature control. And some of that stuff is reusable too, which is great. Solid stuff. Going to efficiency now. So I'll count this guy. We have 5 upgrades in this deck. 2 of which are creatures, 2 of which are good to put on our opponents. But I think this actually works no matter whether me or my opponent plays upgrades. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'll count that as one for efficiency. This goes back into the deck, so I'll subtract 1 for efficiency. So far we're at 0. This discards 2 cards, so I'll count that as 1 for efficiency. 1 efficiency card so far. 2. This lets us play upgrades off house, so I'll count that as half. So 2.5. That lets us discard 1 card, so we'll say 3.5. $3.5 for efficiency. I mean, I didn't really expect much, so that's better than I thought it would be. For recursion, I don't think we have anything except for that rad penny that recurs itself when she's destroyed. She goes back into the deck, but nothing else really can bring things back from the discard pile or the hand, really. So not too worried about that. For disruption, I think we have a few things that can get cards out of our opponent's hand. So we've got not Reckless Rizzo. Yeah, there it is. Little Auto. That's 1 random card from their hand. 1 so far. For disruption. Yeah, 2 Vandalize. Yep, 2 disruptions so far. All right, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. So and then we had that Matter Maker, and like I said, we have 5 upgrades, 2 of which are creatures, so we can play these creatures off house as an upgrade, right? Which is kind of cool, actually, being able to play get these cards out of our hand. That probably adds to efficiency, really. So we might add 1 more to efficiency for that card. But yeah, overall, very, very cool deck. I think there's a lot of cool stuff in here that can kind of make this deck work well. It's got a lot of Amber generation, quite a bit of Amber generation, lots of steal, lots of capture, fair amount of draw, and yeah, good efficiency too. So I'm pretty excited to try this one out overall. This is where it gets hard. I have to decide what I think this SAS is going to be based on what I've seen. Oh man, you'd think I'd get better at it by this point. I feel like I'm gonna overshoot it, but you know, I just kind of see the best in every deck that I pull. So because this deck has so much efficiency and so much just Amber on the cards and so many creatures, I'm inclined to rate it higher. But at the same time, some of the Amber control was a little lower, right? They're all one-offs. There's no like mass Amber control like a Interdimensional Graft or a Doorstep to Heaven. I mean, this could be pretty big. Maybe three Amber control there, and this could add up. There's a lot of steals, you know, but a lot of these are just like 1 at a time, right? So I might take some points off for that, and but you know, aside from that, the main strategy. Looking at the main strategy is usually where we see the most of the SAS score come from. What's the main strategy of this deck? It's just to play these creatures. It has a lot of high-value creatures, and while my opponents worry about the creatures, I disrupt them with all these great action cards, right? It's a pretty standard strategy. There's no real focus cards in this deck. If I had to make a focus card, I would say it would go down to 2 cards. To a lesser extent, it would be the Matter Maker to just get that efficiency going, and I could recycle out my upgrades and get them out very, very quickly to disrupt my opponent and boost my creatures. And the main thing that I think would be the most focus should be placed on is this Monument to Shrix. Since we have 3 Shrix, getting one of this card piles is going to be very, very easy, and then we can just use this to bully our opponent's amber pool all the time. Every Saurian turn, we just take an amber from their pool, and it becomes our amber, basically. So, yeah, we basically steal one every turn, every Saurian turn, on top of all the stealing we have in Shadows and stuff like that, and in Saurian. So, I think, yeah, with a high emphasis on steal and in combat here, we have a lot of high power creatures, some low power, but just a lot of creatures in general. How many Saurian creatures do we have that'll work with the Saurian egg? We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Over half of our Saurian cards are creatures, which is perfect for the Saurian egg, especially if we have our deck kind of lower. So, yeah, overall, I think this is a great deck. I think it's going to be in the 70s. I can't imagine this deck not being in the 70s. But I'm going to be a little conservative this time. I'll say 73. I'll say it's solid. It's not going to be amazing. I think it's solid, right? And I'll be pleasantly surprised if it's higher. Go ahead and make your guess, and I'll see you at my desktop. All right, welcome back to my desktop. I have copied the link, and like I said, I think this deck has a lot of good things going for it. Most decks have something good going for them. This one happens to have a good ratio of 20 monsters, 19 amber on the cards, decent amount of amber control. It's got a little bit of everything, this deck, but the main strategy of it boils down to playing your creatures, controlling your opponent's board, reaping a lot. Maybe not as much because there's so many amber on the cards, but stealing is a big aspect of this deck. So if they shut down stealing with something, then that could be an issue. But, you know, overall, I think this deck has a lot of options, which makes me think it's in the 70s. So I guess to 73, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and lock in your guesses. I'm locking in my guess of 73, and let's see what we have. 75. I was about there, right? So it's in the 70s. It's actually pretty good. It's I think a 75 is solid. It's in the top 95% of decks. So let's see what our numbers show us. We have, I knew we would get some subtracted here in amber control because we have things that exalt. So we're losing a quarter each for the Lycosaurus because it exalts itself, and the defense initiative because it exalts itself. The Curse of Vanity exalts us and them, right? The Curse of Vanity does one friendly and one enemy creature, right? And the Senator Quintina, that one exalts all creatures that reap, right? So that's going to be good for us and also bad for us potentially. So those are things to be aware of. But look at that, 27 expected amber, not losing anything. The Citizen Tricks, the 3 of them being on top, is huge, right? Having 3 of those right there, just constantly playing and reaping. And then we have that, what is that? That Perfectus Ludo that we can try to protect. We can put that next to a taunt creature. We have the Security Droid to add taunt to anything. And we can use that off house potentially if we have Matter Maker. I mean, granted, we might not get all of these cards in the right order, but the potential's there for that, right? If we can get that to work out in the right order and get all that stuff out, then that's great. And we have a little bit of speed here to help us with that. We have the Armory Officer Nell, which will, you know, we have 5 upgrades, so we could potentially get at least 1 or 2 draws from that, you know, depending on our draws. We have the Matter Maker. We can use those upgrades off house. Lay of the Land is standard for efficiency. Mutagenesis Researcher offered another draw pip there. Saurian Egg discards 2 cards. And Rad Penny, she goes back in the deck, so she's a little bit of anti-efficiency. But overall, we have 7.1 speed there, 7.1 efficiency there, which is great. Away Team, oh yeah, that offers some recursion for our upgrade. We only have 1 upgrade. Well, I guess we could put the Stealthster or the Security Droid, or both, on the Away Team. That would be good. And then we have 1 more positive upgrade, I thought. Trying to see here. If I look at upgrades, we have Bone Rot, Venom Retention Coil, and Observe Max. That's right, Observe Max is the other one that we could potentially put onto a Away Team. That'd be great. Yeah, so we have him as either being a taunt, an elusive, or have him fight, reap, capture one. And since he's got 5 power, having him fight or reap to capture one might be a very solid move, especially since that would recur that Observe Max. So we have some recursion, which is really good. That probably added a bit to that score there. Subtle Auto Vandalize, as we thought, would be some good disruption. So overall, though, those are some really good numbers. Like I said, it's got a little bit of everything. The Borrow is the the artifact control. Yeah, so let's see what our synergies and anti-synergies look like. We've got Armory Officer Nell, obviously great with upgrades. We have only 5 upgrades, so you know it could be better, but it's not as bad as it could be, I guess. Let's see. Citizen Tricks is always good with Perfectus Ludo and Patronage. Patronage being that card that moves half the amber from a creature to my pool and the other half to my opponent's pool. So if I have a Shrix that has like 10 amber on it, rather than giving my opponent 10, I can just concede, give them 5 amber, and take 5 amber for myself. So I mean that's that's pretty solid overall. I think that's a way better deal. And considering that I have a lot of ways of stealing, that 5 amber might not mean much, right? I could probably do that to one Shrix, drop down another, and steal one. You know, there's a lot of options there, so that's pretty cool. We have Matter Makers, good with upgrades, of course. We have 5 of them. Yeah, I counted that right. There's there's 5. Okay. Let's see. We have synergy. Rad Penny has synergy with Lycosaur, Secret Needle, and Bone Rot Venom, of course, because they damage friendly. They offer more ways of cycling her back in the deck to reuse her. The more we do that, though, the less efficiency we have. But we have 7.1 efficiency overall, so we could probably make up for that. And getting more steals in is always good. Protectus Ludo is great with Exalts. We have a whole bunch of Exalts, so he's going to be very, very useful. We want to get him out and keep him protected. Faust the Great's great. We have so many things. We have that one creature that lets us exalt for every reap. And so we have so many creatures. Faust the Great's going to make our opponent's keys cost so much. So that's going to be pretty scary for them, I imagine. Monument to Shrix, great with Citizen Shrix. We've got 3 of them. That's some good synergy. We have some anti-synergy here with Saurian Egg because we have a lot of good play creatures. Again, Saurian Egg does not play creatures. It does not allow play effects to happen. So it just puts them into play, right? It says... put them into play ready. Yeah, don't play them, you put them into play. And so we would lose out on Citizen Shrix or Lycosaurus's effect if we happen to get one of those. So that's just something to be aware of. Red Alert, we have a high creature count, so we're not likely to use it, but I think it's always good to have kind of a board wipe in case our opponent just happens to have a large amount of creature control. It's always good to have kind of a contingency plan for that. And nothing else really has a lot of synergy here. The Senator Quintana is great with the Ludo and the Patronage. So yeah, overall, I think it's a solid deck. It's got a clear strategy. It's got a lot of contingency plans in case that strategy doesn't work out. I'm actually pretty looking forward to trying this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play. But let me know what you think and what'd you guess. Did you get close to the 75? Put it in the comments. And if you like this, I appreciate a like. And if you want to see more of this content, please subscribe. Appreciate the watch, guys. You have a good day. Catch you later. Bye-bye.